Hi, everyone. I'm Donna Norris, Soul Level Intuitive, and today I'm here together with Deborah Rotman. Deborah, if you want to say hello and just give everybody a brief idea of who you are and why you're here.
Hi there. I'm Deborah Rotman. I'm with Loving Connections, and I'm an evidential medium and also connected with the archangels. And so excited that we're here today to talk about the angels with you.
Same here. Deborah and I met through mediumship. We both have the same mediumship mentor coach. And so we've been sitting together now for, oh gosh, going on 2 years.
Mhm.
So it's been really fun to get to know Deborah because she's also really into animals. We have just a lot of things that we have in common.
Mhm.
Happy to be here today and want to talk with you guys. We want to just share with you our stories of angelic connection, angelic affirmations, angelic confirmations, inspirations, and see that, just to kind of see if any of what's happened with us in our journey has happened with you and hear your stories too. Hi, Liz Servo. Nice to see you here. Hi, Carl Hees. Great. And Carl says it's his first time to hear you, Deborah. She's been on my channel before. If any of you have followed the Awakened Journey series, Deborah has given her story in a lot more detail than what we'll go over today about her journey in this world and in this side of the world, metaphysical side. But I think what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, is just go ahead and talk a little bit about my start with angels. And my start was like from the very beginning almost. And it was when I was a little kid. Until I was about 4 years old, we lived out in the country and didn't have any other kids for me to play with. So my mom used to talk about all the time that I would play with my imaginary friends. And we would keep myself entertained for hours. And to the point that when my little sister was born 4.5 years later, when I was 4.5 years old, they named her after my imaginary friends, Sharon and Yvonne. So my sister's name is Sharon Yvonne. And
Oh.
I now think, as an adult, knowing what I know about angels and guardian angels and how they can come, to be there with us literally at different times and spaces and places in our lives, that those were probably my angel friends coming to see me and play with me.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. It's nice though. And then will you keep going a little bit more about how that kind of stopped a little bit? Because you were sharing with me, and I think that's so relevant to so many people about maybe how they had an opening when they were younger, and then that kind of got suppressed a little bit. And I also want to say hi
Yeah.
to Carl and Liz, and I'm so excited to have you here. And if you guys are interested, you can share some of your stories too, and we'll read them out loud. So, okay,
Yeah,
tell us
please
more.
do. Feel free to type away in the comments. Yeah, well, what had happened was when she was born, my mom thought it was really cute up until she was now dealing with two children instead of one, and my dad is a little less than patient, let's just say, and so we just kind of like they said, we don't need to talk about that now, and oh my gosh, you're going to school, you really don't need to be talking about your imaginary friends at school. So I just sort of set it aside, and starting school and having that to focus on, and having to share the attention of my parents with my sister, that was a big adjustment for me. So then fortunately we moved into a neighborhood soon after that, and I had other kids to play with. That was a big distraction, of course. You have your friends and stuff, and school. And it really wasn't until my 30s when I invited angels to come back and assist me, and just freely asked for the help. And I've now learned and know, as an adult, I found out that they're always there. They're just waiting for us to ask them in. So even though I have multiple examples throughout my life, teens and 20s, until I got into my 30s, of situations and things that have happened that there's no other explanation for why things turned out as well as they did and why I survived, even in some cases, other than some kind of intervention. So, anyway, what's your journey with angels, Deborah? How did you get to be really in touch with them?
Great question. I will answer that, and I love that so much. What you touched upon is the free will. So
Mm,
we have our free will, and So inviting the angels in like that, I think that's the important key here. If you wish and want angelic guidance, which we'll talk more about how we set space to do that sometimes, you don't have to, but it's really good to know that they cannot override your free will and you need to ask. And I would like to say Kathleen is on the chat saying that her angelic experiences have come when driving, which is really great. And I think that means, when we're driving, sometimes I think it just calms our brain down a little bit. Our left brain is not thinking, and you're just zoning out. And that's a great way for them to come in. And then Carl has said he's trying to remember exact incidences in his life when he's been saved by an angel. He's been helped, but I think it's very discreet the way they helped you from danger. And I think sometimes I totally agree with that, because sometimes it's just that nudge that just does that thing that saves you. And it's just so fascinating. So for my story, I'm sure so many of us had experiences when we were little that we don't recall. But for me, I was in a shamanic class, and I heard one of the instructors talking about going to talk to this woman who worked with archangels, just as it was a guide of hers. And I was like, I just walked right up, interrupted their conversation. I was like, I need to know that woman, and she's supposed to teach me. And like, just out of nowhere, I'm just like, you teach me. So I was like, what was that? So, okay, I'll give you her information. So I gave her information, and I did the same thing. I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. You're supposed to teach me. And she's like, I'm just going to get back to you on that, because like I haven't really been teaching. And sure enough, she goes, let me check with archangels. And she got back to me the next day. She's like, yep, I'm just supposed to kind of open the door here for you. And so she did. She kind of gave me a couple of connections, and I want you to visualize this and that. So at the end of one of her sessions, she's just like, it really is about a direct connection with you and the archangels or the angels. And so I said, okay. So I went and just sat in my chair, and my kids were at school, thankfully. And of course, the angelic realm knows everything, right? And I just turned on this. It was one of those looping, wonderful angelic music sounds, so yummy, on YouTube. And I just opened my mind, and they started bringing in such high vibrational energy that I was just like, oh my gosh, it was almost like, oh my gosh, it was electric. It was incredible. And I was just crying and crying and crying in bliss and joy.
Yeah.
And when I opened my eyes again, it had been 3 hours.
Wow.
I thought it would be like 20 minutes or something. I was like, oh my gosh, and it was incredible. It was quite an experience. And it's just started from there. So that was my beginning, and it was very powerful and beautiful and lovely. And I think a lot of people have more subtle things that happen, but you can ask for confirmations. Like, I would like a confirmation if I'm going in the right direction within 24 hours, something that I'll recognize that's a gentle confirmation, and it will happen. Have you had those happen for you, Donna?
Yes, I encourage people to ask for signs, and I do ask for signs a lot. If what I'm doing is for the highest good, or if this is the direction I'm really supposed to be going, and should I go on this trip or should I wait? That kind of thing. Is it time to sell my house or should I wait? That kind, and I always get an answer. I always get a sign. You were mentioning, and Kathleen and Carl were talking about like driving and nudges. And I have a story from like when I was 20 years old, maybe. I was living in the hill country of Texas where the roads are curvy and up and down, and we get monsoon rains. We don't get just normal rain like other parts of the country. It comes down in sheets and it rains sideways, and I had just broken up with in a relationship, and so I'm driving down the road and I'm crying, and it's raining, and it's really raining hard, and I needed to just pull myself together, and all of a sudden, I could barely see through the windshield, and all of a sudden I could see so clearly through the windshield. It was still pouring buckets, but I could see clearly through the windshield. And then what happened, like as soon as I noticed that and, started to dry my eyes, I blew a tire. I had a blowout going at 55 miles an hour on a curved road. And had that not happened, had I not gotten that nudge to like wake up and dry your eyes, of something so startling as that all of a sudden being able to see, knowing that it was still raining all around me, I would have probably gone off the side of a steep embankment.
Oh,
with
wow.
that blowout. So no other way to explain that happening.
Yeah, that's scary.
Got to be a guardian angel thing. And
yeah.
Gotta be.
Amazing.
So yeah, but signs come in all forms. When you ask for a sign, I mean, haven't you seen it? Like, I don't know. I love butterflies. I'll ask for that. And then all of a sudden in rapid succession, I'll see one, I'll hear something on the radio, or I'll talk to somebody and or I'll open up social media and there will be a butterfly. It's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, winged ones, we call them in the shamanic realm, are very great messengers of spirit, like dragonflies, butterflies, and birds. Sometimes you'll have like a hummingbird or a bird that normally wouldn't come around. It's just staring at you in the window. And you're like, okay, that's a little unusual. Or some other really interesting things. And I can tell a story about that. I was going to share what Carl said. He said, now I remember first discovering Susan Lynn about 2 years ago, which led you to Val of Dragonfly Crystals, who has a guest on her show last January of last year, which led me to all of you readers now. I love connections. Woo! And Iris Arrow said, I love this. I had a question on my mind and I had asked for an answer. It was a few days later that suddenly I hear a thought, because it wasn't really a voice, and it said forgiving, and spot on
For your answer.
I love that. And then Sea Escape says, hello, Donna and Deborah. Hi, Sea Escape. Welcome.
Hi,
Happy to have you. And we're just sharing stories of how angelic interventions and confirmations have affected our lives. And when my dad died, I just felt him so strongly, and I was hearing him, and it was he was the first human ever to pass that was close to me. And it was such an experience and of grief to go through. But I was hearing his voice so strong in my head. I was like, oh my gosh. And I had started on mediumship journey, but this was like, he was right here with me. And he said, I'm going to have a confirmation for you at my funeral. You're going to know I'm there. Look in the sky.
What?
So it was crazy. And so it was in a tent, and we were sitting on our little chairs, and the rabbi's standing just outside the tent over the area which is to be his grave. And or not the rabbi's grave, my dad's grave. And he's standing there, and all of a sudden, whoa, it was like jet propelled red-tailed hawk, which is one of my connecting animals, and it just whooshed right around right behind the rabbi. And it was being chased by a whole gaggle of crows. And then it whooshed by again, and it kept whooshing by. And finally, the rabbi just stopped, and he's like, wow, it looks like being joined by someone today. And I was like, yeah, I'm the one jumping up and down in the tent, laughing and crying. And everybody's just like, who is that? And I'm like, Dad's here, because this red-tailed hawk was just whooshing all around. It was such a wonderful confirmation for me profoundly that just like this door opening, right, of spirit saying, we're here, you can connect with us, we're still here, and we can prove it. And it was
and in the spirit animal realm, crows are a connection to the divine, to the mystical.
Yes.
It was perfect that it was crows of all things.
They were making a lot of noise following that red hawk.
I love it.
Egg or what? Yeah, it was amazing.
That's really cool. Did you see Carl's got another follow-up statement? Yeah, the fact that I've never been in any accidents or mishaps, even the toilet kind, that proves I'm always being protected unknowingly.
See, that's
for sure.
Lovely. And you can always draw that in. Say, I'm always protected. Everywhere I go, I'm protected. And I call on the angels, my guides for this. I'm protected from anything running into me. I'm protected from me running into anything else. I'm protected from, I'm protected and safe. And that we like to say, I'm safe, protected, sacred, holy, and sovereign unto myself, right? And so I am my own being, and I'm safe and protected. And there are all of these beautiful ways of just having that intention and just communicating that and say, I give you permission forever in my earthly body to have these protections. And it's amazing.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but growing up, I was raised in a Christian home. You were raised in Judaism, and we have the stories of the archangels and the angels in the Bible, but to me they were always like just stories of beings that were there in that time to assist. It never dawned on me, and I was never taught that I could call them in and that they're all still here with all of us today.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until, I had this awakening that I realized all that and started learning about angels and archangels and cherubim and seraphim and all the different, aspects of the realm. I love it now. I mean, I always walk around going, I am safe, supported, and protected.
Yes.
I just know it.
Yes, you know it. So what, and it sounds like Carl knows it too. He's done really well.
Yeah, and Kathleen.
Yeah. And so a question for you. So what caused your reopening? If you said that, I missed that. Like, what caused you to reopen as an adult?
Oh, that's kind of a long-winded story.
You want to share, like,
Yeah, well,
you just have a personal time or something.
Sure. Well, I may have mentioned that my dad was a little less than patient, and that didn't get any better as time went on. And as time went on, we didn't know it at the time. I just grew up always thinking it was really stern, to put it nicely. But it got worse and worse and worse. And eventually, my dad went into alcohol rehab and recovery, and my mom went into a recovery program for the family of alcoholics, and so did I. And that's when I learned about angels.
Oh, really?
That was my first exposure to angels and being able to have like a personal one-on-one connection with them, and how people have guardian angels. And then, but you can call in extra angels. You can call in a passel of angels if you want to. Pardon my Southern slang. You can call in as many as you want.
I love your Southern
and they'll come and they come, and I can actually feel uplifted, So I remember once when I was about to leave a job that I really didn't like. And I was in the middle of trying to build a house, and I was a single mom, 2 kids, and was building this house, and I needed this job for the salary, because I needed to qualify for the mortgage when the house was finished, that kind of thing. But I had been called by a former client to become my own business and be their vendor. And it was a really big hospital client. It was before I went into the sign business. I used to own a sign company for a long time. And so I was out and I was walking the dog, and I said, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do, God. Is this a direction that you want me to go? I mean, they've called me 3 different times, and they've actually gone to, our mutual connection and had them sign off that it was not a conflict of interest for me to be their vendor, all these things that were concerns on my mind. And I said, am I really supposed to do this while I'm still building this house? And I'm walking the dog down the street, and literally I got goosebumps that started at the top of my head and just went full body goosebumps all the way down to my toes. And sort of like you with the music, by the time I came out of that whoosh, feeling, I was down the street and around the corner, and I don't even remember walking there. I don't even remember going. It was such an amazing, blissful, all-encompassing, we got your back. We've got you. And I just felt so cradled and like cocooned in support. I just felt wrapped in support. It was really amazing. And I went on to have a really successful career with that company and still managed to get my mortgage done when the house was finished.
That's wonderful.
So they worked it all out. If we just trust, they work it all out. So
yeah. There's some incredible things, and it's so nice that you were open to all of that and receiving all of that. And I feel like sometimes when we open up, we wanted to talk a little bit too about how we open and how we set space and things like that. But I love that you asked for, you like, help me. You can use God, you can use Great Spirit, you can use the angels, you can use whatever. They know your intention.
Yeah.
Open up upwards, and then
Yeah.
they can feel it and reach you. When we're down and we're depressed and we're mad and we're angry at our lot in life and we're self-pity and victim, it's very hard to reach up and see out of that. So when we open up and say, you help me, I know you can help me. I know there's and it's just that allows them to help you, but also allows you to feel their help.
Yeah.
I think we had a great comment there while we were talking too.
I know. I see that. Do you want to read them? Go ahead.
Let me see. I'm going to come back up.
Go back up to Seascape.
Okay, there we are. So Seascape said, an angel, which I love that name, an angel and relative saved me when a rubber raft took me under the ocean when I was 6 or 7 from drowning to the surface. I came up with a rope of raft wrapped around my neck and I walked out unscathed. That's amazing.
Incredible.
Just incredible. And you're saying part 2, spirit relatives. Carl's saying cool, and you guys are being supportive, which I love. And then Iris says, I had a puppy when I was 9 years old. He got sick and I was heartbroken. We had a bond that was pure love. I still think about him all the time and have not got another dog since. Does it mean he can see me? I will tell you that pets in spirit absolutely are with us. They can be reached. They can do communication with. I know Donna does tons of communications with animals. I do them as well. But I'm telling you that you can connect with that pet in spirit, and that they just want you to be happy again. They want, if you want another pet, some people get one right away, and other people never do. But just know that that pet still loves you, and having a heart for that animal means that you're an animal person. So it's okay to allow yourself to love again. I'm just saying that. That's what I'm putting on that. And Carl, he's just saying, absolutely, Irish Arrow. I can guarantee you, dog walk. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Carl knows. I'll bet Kobe's been checking in. Carl lost a kitty cat a couple of weeks ago, and I will bet you've seen signs. Right, Carl, that your kitty is here. So
yes. Carl's wondering about, he's hearing the little fan sound in the background. He's asking if someone's making a milkshake. So
sorry, no.
We've got a little sound in the background on one of our, but that's okay. We'll get that taken care of on the next one. Joe Lombardi says, I use the Angel Oracle deck every day. When I draw the signs card, it reinforces that throughout the years, when I see 1010, it is a sign that I'm on the right path. I love that. That's so important too. You worked out your own system. And so a lot of people come to readers to tell us what's the way, what's the system. And everybody can create their own system and their own form of communication directly. And Iris Arrow says, oh my gosh, I could cry. I'm like, well, we just send so much love to you from that animal. It's just voluminous coming down.
Yes.
Feel that. Yes. So Liz Cervoni says, recently my husband and I were at a beach that was usually safe. There was a lot of people blocking the stairs when we were on our way out. 2 women who were on the beach saw us leaving and followed. It looks like there might be more to that.
Here it is, part 2.
They followed us up the stairs. She told me she was watching out for us. My husband is disabled. Oh, that's wow. Nice. And we're just helping to make sure that you made it up the stairs. That's a wonderful story. And Iris Arrow says, thanks so much, Carl. You're very kind. I love the supporting nature in this chat. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And these guys are awesome.
Incredible. So we also wanted to talk a little bit about how do people connect with angels. If you're starting Angel Connection 101, because you want to get confirmations, all you have to do is ask. And You may or may not notice anything at first, but you know that you're going to get an answer. So it's not questioning, it's releasing the questioning. And then I like to light a candle. I've got my purple and pink candle is my cool little candle.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't it really pretty? I don't know how to get it in there. I got it somewhere and I thought it was cool. But I like to light a candle that I think is special. And I just high vibrational words, especially if you're feeling down that day, especially if you're feeling hard, like things are hard. It's good to practice connecting when you're feeling in a good space. So that way, when things maybe feel a little more difficult, you already have that pathway open and you know how to hear in your way.
Yes.
So doing, like Donna had said, words of affirmation, and high vibratory words like, I am love, I am listening, I am joy, I am gratitude, I am peace, I am compassion, I am perfect balance in my heart, I am heart centered. I'm putting your hand on your heart. And do you have any good affirmations that you like to use, Donna?
I love to use the I am protected. It's just almost rote to me now. But I also love that, I am guided easily and effortlessly by my angels. I love to use the term easily and effortlessly
Yes.
because that opens me up to be receptive and opens them up to any of the possibilities, where I'm not trying to pigeonhole them to tell them how to give me what it is that I'm seeking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, clear and direct communication with my higher self, with my angels at all times. Clear and direct. I like that too. We don't have to have any kind of intermediary. But I also am like, I'll be honest. I say, sometimes I'm not the most astute observer. And so I'll say, hit me like a two before between the eyes. I mean, like, give me a sign that there's absolutely no mistaking it. Any kind of sign you want, but just make it clear. And that,
Okay.
I had an experience when I was walking the dog. So it was like, it doesn't have to be anything that dramatic, but I do get them like that.
And I love it how you said you were just out walking the dogs. So you also
Yeah.
don't have to hop on your left leg and dance in a circle and
Right.
light a candle, right? You have that connection because you want it. I would caution against doing that because I had said, I just want a confirmation. I had my sister over and I was opening to spirit and I was just wanting to put my whole life into spirit and just so excited about all these things. And I didn't know if she'd be open to it. So I went upstairs briefly to get something and I was like, Spirit, should I tell my sister or not? And all of a sudden I got hit on the nose so hard. I had tears. I thought it was broken. I had tears just coming down my face and I was just like, oh my gosh, out of nowhere. I don't know what hit me. And I was like, okay. And they go, yep, on the nose. You should tell her. So we want gentle confirmations. I was like, okay, so I come down the stairs. Okay, let me share with you. It was not broken. It was just a bonk, but our noses are very sensitive. So it was a good way to ask for gentle confirmations in the way that you can receive it. In the way that you'll notice it. Well, you'll hear it. A lot of people, it's feathers. And I'll give a confirmation. I was an in-home euthanasia veterinarian and I lived in the country and I wanted so much to receive a red-tailed hawk feather just to find one because I lived in this little property and I never did. And so one day I went to this very hard to reach in-home euthanasia for pets, right? And I drove I had a Kia Soul. So it was about bottoming out. Like I really had to get it adjusted after getting out to this property for this person. And I get out there and she walks up to me and she goes, here. And I'd never talked to her about anything about spirituality. It was a client. And she hands me this huge red-tailed hawk feather. And
what?
I was like, what? She goes, this is a red-tailed hawk feather. I was like, what? She goes, this is on our property and it's the only one we've ever seen in 10 years, this feather. And she said, and I know it's for you. Here you go. And I was like, whoa, so those kinds of confirmations that tell you you're in the right direction. They're here with you. They see you. They love you. They're supporting you. And they're beautiful things. Okay, we have some things to read. unless you wanted to take it and
No,
follow
no,
up.
no. Go
Uh,
right ahead.
okay, so let's see. We were at
Carl.
okay. So Carl said Kobe's a naughty boy. He gave Debbie Lament the finger when I checked on him, Donna. He's got such a sassy attitude. Debbie was amused as Kobe is busy, doesn't want to be disturbed roaming around. Do you know about this, Donna?
I'm not sure I know who Debbie Lament is or Lament, but I know that, he's gotten a reading
Oh,
about
so they were doing this. Good.
like an animal connection with his cat. And
I know. And we love this so much, but this is a good reminder. I don't know about you, Donna, but for me, I'll do a reading and then it's like we're a clear tube. We in our mind and then out of our mouth and then we forget.
yeah,
Because we're not meant to hold on to it. So we apologize if we've done readings for people and then we don't necessarily remember that. But that's the best way to be, because if we hold on to it, then we're not opening a clear channel. So that happens a lot.
exactly.
And yeah, you're saying that's hilarious, Carl. Iris Arrow with a puppy in spirit said, I'm literally sobbing right now. I haven't allowed myself to do this for 40 years. Thank you. I love him so much. I love him still. Well,
so honored that you're here sharing this with us.
yes, thank you. Because it takes, bravery to share. And we're glad that you're sharing about that, because the healing needs to happen. It's a beautiful, beautiful relationship that you had together. And it will always be there for you. And, and I'll tell you that we think that, and I'm not pushing you, but I'm telling you that we think I could never have another one, but it'll be different. It's like having a different friend, right? But someone you can open your heart with, because we allow ourselves still to connect and love in that way. I found people, pet people are always pet people. So it's so nice to have a little furry friend. Hopefully you have a cat or some furry friend that you can put your hands on, because you deserve that. I'm just saying that. Goodness. And we just had a confirmation from Donna's dog that says, yes, you do deserve that, Iris Hero. Okay. Moonlight.
We'll take it as that.
Okay. Moonlight Me's commenting on the audio. We understand we're having a little echoing, so we'll be working on that with our next time. And Carl said, I know how you feel, Iris Arrow. I had the same experience as a 4-year-old when I fell from the bed and was unconscious, and my orange cat sat on my chest till I woke up the next day. But he died mysteriously a day later. Oh, that is just wild. And it's such a sad story, but you know that they're here for you and they love you.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Yes. Okay. And Moonlight Me says, looking for a message. They want a message from their 2 soul cats who both passed away many years ago. And Carl's saying, Donna always remembers me. She does remember you, but sometimes little specifics, at least for me anyway, but she loves
it was so touching when he first popped in. I guess it was the last one or two lives ago, and told me that his cat had died. I do a distance Reiki list where I keep people and I send distance Reiki to them every day, people or animals. And Kobe had been on that list, and he checked in to tell me that Kobe had passed, but he had been sick for some time. So yeah, Carl's had 200 cats since that time.
What?
He rescues cats and loves on cats.
Oh, it's lovely. I'm a big cat person and a dog person and a horse, so I get it. Any animal, I love them.
Me too.
So I love this.
Another way I think that you can also, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you go ahead.
To connect with your angels and to establish, your own relationship with them is to just write down your intentions, write it down, ask them, I really want to release, I don't know, maybe a phobia or bad habit or something like that. Or like we were talking about earlier, and am I on the right path? Is this my soul path? That kind of thing. And then again, ask for signs. I love what was said about the 10-10. Some people like repeating numbers like 456 or 333 and different angel. They actually have books on angel numbers, what some of those number sequences mean. But they're really a fun way to look for and get signs and ask for signs.
Yeah, I love that. Seascape is saying that they think their dog Sydney, who passed last September, she had a nightlight, and I think she flickers it and turns the light on and off. And I have heard that from so many clients. That's really cool, first of all, because you're like, wait a minute. Why would that suddenly happen when I'm thinking? A lot of times you'll be thinking about the pet in that moment, and then something will happen. Or people they felt like the pet jump on the bed. Have any of you felt that? Because like suddenly, yeah, I'm like, what? Like, how is that? And you'll feel it. You'll feel the bed move. You'll have like a little indention there.
Yep.
Uh, I had my cat recently. She just showed up. Her photo just showed up, and she's passed away now. And she's here to help me, be a guide for pets and spirit. And she wanted to show up. And I was just like, wow, out of nowhere, her photo that she had passed a while ago showed up. So it's all these beautiful things. And we love, for people that are here with us now, I just want to reiterate, we love that you all are sharing instances of your angelic confirmations that you've received.
Yes, please keep them coming.
We love it. Carl said there's an angels list. I started doing that about 6 months ago, along with my meditation and prayer, and it works.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I had no idea there were more archangels than just Michael and Gabriel, the two that I remember from the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once I opened my eyes to it, there's like 15 of the top
so
archangels. And they each have their own little thing that you can call on them to help you with.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zadkiel is great for memory, which I have no problem admitting I struggle with memory a little bit. Just different things like that. That they each have like a superpower. Archangel Ariel, on the tarot cards, she's on the major arcana, the strength card, the lady with the lion, and she's also the archangel of animals. So I love that. If you really want angelic help, super angelic help from a superstar angel, like an archangel, you can ask for them by name to come and help, and they will. They're able to be in many, many different places at one time.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Because some people think they don't feel worthy to call an angel to them because they don't want to take away from other people, and they are infinite in their power and their ability. So I can hang out with Archangel Michael all day, and he can be all over to every other person in the world at the same time. So you have infinite capability to hog them if you want to, or if you need, or you're in a moment, whether it's your angel. So you have personal angels that are with you, but then you have the archangels that are with everyone, but you can be with them as much as you want. So you are definitely worthy. And I also wanted to mention there are certain stones that are connected with different archangels, like Archangel Haniel is a moonstone, right? And so I was really, really connected with her, and I still am. And I had for, like 2 years until it broke. And then finally didn't break, but it finally got all, rusted. It was just like a sudden thing where I was like, oh, okay, like I don't need to wear this anymore. But I wore this necklace just connecting with her. And so you can have a stone that you hold too that helps represent the archangels. And Donna knows about that. She's the
I love that. Yeah, Archangel Haniel is the moonstone. I have a rainbow moonstone ring that I wear a lot when I'm doing readings, and also she's the archangel of intuition. So of course, why not?
yes.
Yeah. There's also like I have crystals on my desk, y'all. But there's amethyst, and then you can see the big amethyst behind me. This is for a pure connection to the angelic realm. It's really great for any and all angel requests. And can't believe this celestite. I have a couple of angel related ones right here on my desk. This is for connecting with the archangel realm and with all the angels. Celestite is like for guardianship type requests, but they'll answer for anything.
And then, you also are keeping yourself grounded. So after an angelic connection, you can also have a jasper type stone, which I've got a little jasper heart here. It's kind of hard to see.
Oh, so pretty. Yeah.
So you can hold on to those, or you can have petrified wood, or just go for a walk outside. But a lot of times just allowing your mind to wander, and you'll get a lot of confirmations that way. And we have Lisa P73, welcome. And it says, part one of my many stories is I reconnected with an old friend after a visitation dream where her mom and I were sitting at a table asking me to take her call because she needed me. I took the call. And part two, we met up and started walking in the evening. We were getting close to last block. I started getting a gut pain that got worse the closer we got to that block. When we stepped off the curb to go into, okay, we'll wait for part three because now I'm excited. And Carl is saying, yes, Donna, me too. And I've never heard their names before, but thankfully, though, it shows through.
And through shows like this,
I'm learning. And I will tell you, you don't have to know their names at all. Like, you can ask them, which one are you? But sometimes it's just angelic energies that you know. And Lori is saying, I have adopted 11 cats, a dog, and a parakeet in my life. Oh, I have now. I love and miss all that have passed. I dearly love my 3 cats that I have now. It's amazing. It's wonderful that you're providing all these homes. And then Lisa, part 3, she said, at the last block, the pain dropped me to my knees. I told her we need to go back. As she helped me up, we would have been caught in a drive-by shooting had we kept going. Ooh, my goodness.
My gosh.
Thank you for listening to your gut. How's that for literal and real? Wow.
Yeah, that's the two before between the eyes feeling. Wow.
This is a big one. Yeah, they're like, you're not listening. We're going to punch you in the gut. Like, what do we have to do? We don't want you to go. Oh, my God. I'm so thankful that you listened.
Yes.
That's incredible because some stubborn people would have kept going, right? I want to go here. I'm not listening, right? So that's great. That's a big thing is start listening to, she's saying it really was. And listening to, the more that we connect with them, the more subtle it gets, because you start to get, oh, it doesn't have to be that great big thing. We can start to connect more and more and more. Or sometimes our minds are even still focused, and even now, and they're like, nope, you need to do this. And they'll have to be a little more direct, I think. Let's see. Carlos said, Donna, as you know, my business deals went nowhere, so I was depressed and have to start again. But today I got a call that something's to look forward to next week. And I know my angels woke me up for that. Oh,
that's awesome.
That is a wonderful confirmation. Look for little feathers. Sometimes you see little white feathers. It's amazing. I was out for a walk with a friend, and I did not know in the UK, actually, at a mediumship internship, and I would walk with her. I was like, this is for you. And I handed her, and there was two little white feathers, little ones. And I handed one to her and one to me. And we were, getting each other more and more. And it turns out that is the whole logo for her website. That is everything. Like, everything to her is a little white feathers. That's a book that she loves more than anything. I had no idea. I mean, just all these connections. She's like, that means so much, and Lisa's saying, to be honest, I was just that stubborn. I was ignoring it for 2 blocks. And Lisa, we have all been there. Seriously.
Yeah.
Now, I've done stuff just like, okay, like I had to get hit right in the nose. So I'm just so thankful that you listened. It's amazing. It's those decisions that you make every day. And then they kind of teach us, like, hey, if you just check in, we'll help you. We'll make it easier for you.
Yes, absolutely. And I love what Carl is saying about coins on the ground are great signs.
Yes.
That's a great, good one. For Susan, my friend Susan Lynn, who a lot of these people know also, for her, it's balls. And she'll find balls of all shapes and sizes.
Balls.
Yeah. BALLS.
That's funny.
She has this really tall, it's about a 4-foot tall cylindrical clear glass container, and they're just all stacked in there from the last few years of collecting all of her signs.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's sort of like a visual journal, for her. Like, here's my answers.
If I ever doubt, just look to the giant big thing full of balls. I love that because you can just connect that. She should auction those off one day. Here's confirmations for you, that'd be so fun. That'd be a
Yeah,
fun thing.
that would be cool.
They say, as far as confirmations, if they're animal related, sometimes if you see like a typical animal, like a crow or something, do something unique, and they do it 3 times in 24 hours, and you're like, then it's a confirmation. Or if you see a unique animal, like a bird you've never seen before, or a creature that you've never seen before that normally shouldn't even be in that time zone, right? And it shows up for you right in front of you and looking at you, you're like, oh, that's for me. That. It's amazing. Oh, they're laughing about it. So welcome, Lori Christine. And Lori says, many times I've been delayed in leaving the house at the time I had planned. Then I found out that there was a bad traffic accident on the route I had planned to take. I think if I would have left, thank you for that, Lori, because I give thanks. I love that so much, because and then it's always good to say thank you to the angels.
Could have been in that accident had you gone when you wanted to. That's
right.
what
I think that too. And here's the interesting thing is that it's changed my perception, things like that on the road now. If somebody suddenly cuts in front of me and I'm like, I need to get there on time, and somebody cuts in front of me and they're going like 10 miles under the speed limit, I used to get really frustrated. Now I'm still a little frustrated, but I have an opening mind to say,
yeah,
there's a reason I'm not supposed to be there right now. There's a reason this person got right in front of me and is going slower than the speed limit. So that because for whatever reason, I wasn't meant to be there at that time, so I give thanks for that.
It's got to be protection. I look at it that way too. David H says, I always ask for a sign, and I'm sure I miss them. I think I miss some too, but I think they just get bigger and bigger and more intense with their signs until I get
it. Yeah.
One morning I took my husky out to the kennel to brush her, and right in the middle of the kennel was a beautiful cardinal feather. Oh man, I never see red feathers.
That'd be beautiful.
So cool.
And Liz Cervoni said, my grandson and I find feathers. I recently found white feathers in my kitchen on the morning when I was stressed. Oh, it's like the angels are like, we're laying this for you. We want you in your joy. We want you to, it's okay. We're here for you. You're not alone. And I love that so much.
Yes.
And Carl's saying, yeah, Lori, I believe that too, or taking another road I don't usually take. Yeah, he's had those guidance as well. And Lori's saying, at the time I had originally planned, I would have been in the traffic accident. I always feel that I was saved. And yeah, Carl's showing
I
us
think so too. I'd agree with that.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that too. So we've had a lot of those things. And it's interesting. I love the varied way that we do that. Like some people find a heart-shaped stone or a heart-shaped leaf that will like literally, you may have a lot of leaves around you, but you're like, that's the most perfect leaf I've ever seen in my life. And it's it just is too perfect, right? Like it's just, that can be a confirmation as well. Like I took a leaf to my son and he's like a teenager and he's just exclaiming running around and showing all his friends the most amazing leaf. Like I was like, am I the only one thinking this is the most amazing confirmation leaf? And it was incredible. So these confirmations can be anything, just anything. Music. Do you have songs that come on for angelic confirmations for you, Donna, on the radio?
Oh yes. A lot of times, I'll be thinking about something and ask for a sign, and then something really as plain and simple as take it easy, comes on the radio, and I'm like, okay, I'm ratcheting down, because I can get pretty intense and pretty serious, when I'm going about my day, and it's like, okay. I literally have had that happen.
That is so
Lori Christine finds feathers and dimes. Oh my God.
Those are good. For me, it's Tom Petty and David Bowie. And it's just crazy. It's like, I'll hear the first 2 beats of the song. I'm like, what? I love that so much because in my opinion, they don't play the Eagles or Tom Petty or David Bowie nearly on the radio. But the olden days people, I guess. But there's really classics they would have. We need a classic station that actually plays really, really good stuff. But that is, it's amazing. Like, it is not possible how frequently they come on when I turn on the radio when I need a confirmation. You know, it's just, it's not a physical possibility, but it is a possibility. So one thing that's so important to know is that just because something isn't a physical possibility in our limited mind doesn't mean that it isn't a possibility.
Right.
So it's allowing ourselves to open up to the possibility, the infinite positive possibilities.
Absolutely.
Lori's talking about,
Because they work in all directions of time.
yeah.
And they don't work in like what we call time, passing in minutes and hours and days. That's what I call linear time. Their time doesn't work the same way from where they come from. So they can work toward our future, heal things from our past, work with us in our present. They can go in all directions of time, not just for us, but for our loved ones as well.
Yeah, I love that so much. They can heal from the moment, even a past trauma or wounding. You can say, I want that healed, or ancestral wounding. I want that healed, so that it heals all the way forward. And you'll find it may be a big or a little one, but it's amazing. And Lori's talking about how she wants to connect more with her archangels and her guides. And we've talked a little bit about doing that. Did you want to talk some more about that, Donna?
Sure, we can even do another show just on the archangels if everybody is interested in it. Maybe put in the comments if you think you'd like to hear more about it. But different angels, like I said before, have different areas in the archangel realm of expertise. Like I call on Archangel Shamuel for lost things. I even have my own angel. I call him Harold. He's my parking angel. Whenever I need a good parking place, as I'm pulling in off the street, I say, okay, Harold, I could really use a good spot. And I always get like in the first 3 or 4 spots. It's just incredible how he works on my behalf. So I love how they line that stuff up. But like Archangel Azrael is a really good archangel for comfort. If you want to send, healing energy to somebody else, or, somebody else is going through a rough time, you can ask Archangel Azrael to wrap them in comfort. It's also, Archangel Azrael is good for grief. So if you're grieving a loss, like, those of you who have recently lost animals or loved ones, he's really awesome for that. Very comfortable, soothing. You'll be able to feel it almost like a shawl around your shoulder. I mean, I can almost feel when he comes in. Gabriel's for communication. Of course, Archangel Michael's for protection. Raphael is for healing, for those of y'all who love healing.
And you have your personal angels, and then you also have your guides. So Lori was talking about just how do we connect. And I think the biggest thing is there's this place between awake and asleep, right? And it's just kind of, it's like meditating, but I'd say not. It's more active than that. There are some videos online called Sitting in the Power. And those are some good ones too, to just find one like that, because it's a little different, because meditation, it just takes us down and empties our mind. But when we're kind of sitting in the power or connecting in, you're emptying your mind, but then you're reaching up. So You're reaching up, and that's your intention, is to reach up and connect with your guides. And it's only your high vibrational, compassionate, benevolent guides that are for your greatest and highest good. They're as great as true self or greater. Like our self is huge and almost infinite, and just a small portion of us incarnates in our body. So reconnecting to our greater self is our higher self, is our intuition, and it brings in all of this information. So opening up our mind and kind of having this reaching up so that you're connecting upwards is a great way to do it. Setting aside time. Some people will have little altars with red cloth as ceremonial, having their, as I'd shown, having their candle, special crystals or stones that call to you. You can go to a spiritual or metaphysical store, but be careful with your pocketbook, because you can to go and
Yeah,
spend
don't be me. Don't be,
Don't be me either. I'm like, I'm just bringing this much cash and that's it, So,
yeah.
and you can find these beautiful stones out in nature also. So that makes them even more special. There are actually, and I will tell you for those rock hounds out there, there's something called, there is a rock hounding book, and essentially you can go to a rock shop and they will sell you a book and it will tell you how to get to mines in your area or places where these rocks naturally occur. So we have obsidian mines, which it's veins of obsidian in Southern Oregon. And so
Wow.
I've been there with my son, and in Thunder Eggs also there's another location for those. So they're some of the only places on the planet that you can just go and you just dig them up. It looks like it rained obsidian, and it's just these huge pieces, and you can just, you're welcome to take some. So it's so beautiful. I've got some pieces over here. So
Really a beautiful black stone. And then here's one that comes from Danbury, Connecticut. It's called Danburite because that's where it was first discovered back in, and you can see
beautiful.
it is milky white, and
Oh,
part of it is kind of a clear, almost see-through. And
ooh.
this is all about opening your heart and your crown to divine light and love. So this is a really good connection with the angels, kind of a stone. Now, we have since found in the time since Danburite was named and first found, it's found in Russia and different places around the world. But isn't that an awesome stone? And it's
Beautiful.
not terribly expensive to get, and it almost has like a smooth, waxy feel to it. It's really a beautiful stone. I hold it. I'll tuck it in my chest pocket here, and I'll wear it, next to my heart. And it's just an amazing, soothing stone for connecting with angels. And I know somebody else said they wanted to hear more about the archangels, especially the one for animals. Yeah, Archangel Ariel is pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah.
She works with animals in nature and helps protect that and helps us understand the greater purpose of sometimes things that don't make sense to us in our mind when it comes to angels and their treatment.
Joe, one of the things that's helpful too, Joe's saying, I would love to hear more about the archangels, especially the one for animals. I can't seem to get over the loss of Joey. And
Yeah.
I would say that when that happens, we're holding on to something in our heart. There's usually a feeling of sadness or loss or even guilt sometimes. And if we write down, just like Carl's saying, manifesting, so you're writing down all the things you feel guilty about when you feel ready to release it, or all these things, and you say, you know what, I know, and you can sign up for a reading also. That helps, because then you know that they're there for you, but I know that they love me. And you could even, burn it gently, like in a fire, and then write down what you want to bring in, the joy of remembering all the good times together and loving them, and knowing that there are so many, like even going to visit the Humane Society or something to see and share your love there. You don't have to take one home, although it's hard not to, but it's just
For some of us, yes.
reconnecting with that heart love again.
Yeah.
But that's still open and there for you, and you deserve that. And so Lori Christine is writing that I'm so grateful for this beautiful conversation today. I really needed this at this time. Please do another show on archangels. Thank you, Lori. We will do it. Carl's saying, write it down on your angels list, Lori. It really works. Write your wishes or intentions, and you'll get an answer, whether instantly or months, however impossible your questions, it will be answered. Yeah,
that is so true.
True. And you know what, Carl, you're right on. That is one of the keys to manifesting, is writing what you want to bring in. So you can write down things that you no longer serve you, and then on the opposite page, and then maybe burn that, or just put an X through, say, I'm done with that. So even an intentional X through the page is another way to do it. And then the other page is, this is what I want to bring in now. These are the things that I want to have. And I also love that Carl wrote that it doesn't often come in the way we expect. It'll bring in for your greatest and highest good, but it may not be immediate. It may not look how we think. It may be 10 years from now. So keeping that in your heart, that they've got your back. They're not going to betray you. I feel like somebody here has been betrayed at some point, and they're not going to betray you. They will not lie to you. They are high vibrational, compassionate, benevolent beings that are in your core, ready to help you and lift you up so that you feel as amazing, so that in that allows you to have even more connection.
Yeah. You know how animals have such a purity of heart when it comes to their connection with us. They don't have egos to get in their way. It's just, you can feel that the love is so pure. And
Yes.
it's, to me, it's the same kind of feeling with angels. When you
Yes.
can start to be able to feel them coming in, you can feel it's a really pure, it's almost hard to describe. It's clean, it's beautiful, and
Mhm.
it just lifts your heart. Um, but I do agree with what you said too about going and loving on those little animals in rescue, because there are so many of them. And even when a rescue has volunteers or a shelter has volunteers, it's oftentimes only once a week that they get somebody to come in and spend some one-on-one time with them and love on them and take them outside to play and stuff. So
Mhm.
if you can find it in your heart to do that, I wholeheartedly encourage you to do it. You'll get spiritually fed as much as they get the entertainment, and that love that comes from animals, that even the playful, friendly love is just so cool and so pure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
It's a great pick
beautiful.
me up. If you're going through something, go love on an animal. It'll help you change your spirits, shift your perspective.
I love how you connected that with archangels, because it's like children, animals, archangels all have this innocence. This, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think that it's a not innocent, but the 100% connection with their love heart, I think is the way to say it. Like 100% connection to that. It's genuine. It's absolutely this beautiful thing, and it's so true.
Yeah, because their whole reason for being is to support our journey.
Yes.
And they're just waiting for us to ask for the help. So
Yes.
sort of like, our animals.
Yes. I was thinking our animals are.
Their whole world revolves around us.
It
And
does.
Carl says animals are angels too, and I have to agree with that. I think they're animals, very little animals with angels with fur on. I mean,
It's amazing. And Joe Lombardi said, moonstones and agates find you all the time when I walk my beach. It's amazing. Like,
cool.
you will find the things that are meant for you to find. And Carl said that writing things down last April was during the most difficult times last year. So it really helps. And you're welcome, Joe. Like, it's amazing. And animals are angels too. They're absolutely incredible. And so they are there for us as well. So they're your incarnate angel. I think sometimes some people don't say that with some of the pets that they have, but also
Yeah,
some pets are here to teach us things. Sometimes
that's
we
right.
like it, sometimes we don't.
I've often found that the relationships in my life that are this, what I'll call stickiest, um, most challenging, whether it be with a person or an animal, there's always a soul lesson in it for me. Always. So if you have an animal that's challenging you or baffling you, or a person, they're just, there's something in there. There's some deeper learning in there for you. It's part of
Oh,
your soul's journey.
oh, it
So
definitely. Sometimes we love it, and sometimes it is a little more challenging. We're like, this too shall pass. I'll get through this. Um, and let's see, Joe's talking about Joey was a rescue and Zoe was adopted at the same time. I also volunteered to love on kittens at a shelter. Oh, I love that.
yay.
I love that. And Venus said, hi, Donna and Deborah. Hi, Venus. I've been
Hi.
here listening on my way home from work. Great stories. Well,
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad to hear from you, Venus. Venus's mom is on my Reiki list. So
oh,
just know that your mom, Lynn, is still on my distance Reiki list, Venus. And if anybody would like to be receiving Reiki healing energy for physical, emotional, or spiritual, anything, doesn't matter. For you or your animals, just email me at connect@donnanorris.net, and I'll put you on my list and send you some healing every day.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Just thank you again, Donna. That's beautiful.
Now, I know, Deborah, you've got some things coming up. So before we part company, if you want to talk a little bit about what's coming up for you, it's also in the description here of the video, you guys. So
Thank you so much. They're in-person ones. We'll be doing more online, but we really wanted to start having some in-person things here in Oregon, just because people want connection physically with another person, like to say hello and see people. So on March 30th in Damascus, Oregon, we're having a healing event. So it's a great big sound healing for a good portion that Donna's coming.
I
Yay!
know, I'm so excited.
So exciting. So, and it's sound healing is the first portion of the event. And then the second half is going around to the different healers. So there's healers and there's mediums and whatever. And we'll all have little tables set up. There are like 6 of us. And you can just go to one of those and have an experience. So that's really fun.
That's
Don't be working at it, but I'm glad that you're not working. You're going to be receiving, because the sound healing is amazing. So that will be fun. That's March 30th coming up. And then a second one is April 5th. We're doing Evidential Mediumship presentation in Vancouver, Washington at the Soul Ascension Studio for a group of people. And so there's another medium and myself, and we do it for so far it's been people, but people and pets. And pets do come into it. And it's funny, I'll be doing it for a person and I'll have a little dog be jumping up. I'll be like, and they had a dog that's with them there now. So, or maybe it's somebody else's dog has just passed in the family and it's up with that person in spirit now. And they're showing me holding the dog. And that always brings so much comfort. It's beautiful. So, and Carl wants to know about your next live reading show. And Christina in Green Meadows, Sweden. So thank you from Sweden. Thank you so much for joining us. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you for lending your energy and your ear and your presence. It's great to hold space with all of you. And my next live YouTube will be Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Nice.
So I know, Carl, you're a little behind us, but hopefully it'll be morning by then. So yeah, wow. Hello, Sweden.
Well, thank you guys again so much for coming today. It's been wonderful. So that's your next event that's coming up, is your live there?
That's the very next one coming up that is that live. I have an in-person event coming up in Houston. I'll be announcing that at a later time because it's like in the fall. So, but yeah, I'll be doing that in Houston. And then some other classes that are coming up. I have a crystal grids class that's coming up that I'll be teaching about crystals and grids and everything, but it was going to be on April 13th, but I have a conflict, so it's going to shift to April 27th, which is this Sunday after Easter. So I'm looking forward to doing that with everybody and talking a lot more about crystals and grids. And I think I may just have to include one for angelic protection.
Oh,
for angelic communication. That'd be a good grid to do.
That'd be amazing.
Call in your angels with a grid.
That's wonderful. So is that one an online class that you're doing, the crystal one?
It's going to be on Zoom.
Okay.
And
so everybody can join.
Yeah. So it'll be easy. So thank you all again so much for joining us today. Glad you could be here.
So much. Thank you guys. We're so glad to have you, and we appreciate you coming.
Deborah, it's always great to work with you. I just have such an infectious, bubbly personality, doesn't she, guys? I just love having you in the same energetic space. So look forward to being a person too. We'll have to do this again soon.
Yeah, I would love it. I love hanging out with you, Donna. We always have such a great time. So much to talk about.
We'll figure out a date and maybe talk about archangels, and we'll be back and we'll get it posted for y'all. Thanks so much again.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Be blessed, everybody. Bye for now.